Oscar Bevis for the Stomping Ground, powered by Wow Hydrate and available on DAZN. What a delight to have Mr. Joe Parker with me. Good to see you. Back in Saudi Arabia, how do you feel when you land and you spend time in this place? Because it's been a big part of your career resurgence, your last 3 fights in this country. When you land here, do you get kind of a different feeling, like a fight mode type
You always have your camp wherever it is, and in our case we have camp in Ireland. And once we make the trip over to Saudi Arabia, everything gets obviously more locked in, and you're getting closer to the fight, and it's you get a bit of a buzz being back here. A buzz because you're back here to fight, but also because of the success that we've had.
What's downtime like for you over here?
Downtime, chilling out with the team, hanging out back at where we're staying, playing table tennis, playing poker, and watching a bit of TV, just chilling out really, and saving all the energy for fight night.
So a lot of us here, the media, right? We all go out together. I've played with Frank, played with Eddie. We play paddle. Have you played paddle yet?
Never played paddle.
Have you not?
No, but I heard there was a big competition here, and maybe one day I can play paddle after the fight.
I'm in. Me and Charlie against Team Parker. Let's talk Daniel Dubois. When was the first time you become aware of Daniel?
I became aware of Daniel maybe, 10, 11 weeks ago.
No, I mean aware of Daniel kind of on the scene.
Daniel on the scene.
Big news around him. Doing
Daniel
things
on
in
the scene.
sparring, in gyms, and I know news travels.
I remember coming to England, and I was locked into fight Hughie Fury, and I went to one of the shows where Daniel Dubois was on. I'm not sure, it was early on in his career, and they were making a lot of noise about him. You know, the next up-and-comer, a big heavyweight with a lot of power.
When did it occur to you that you might cross paths? Because obviously, at the start of his career, when you're on about when you come over for Hughie Fury, that was a young Daniel Dubois.
Yeah,
when did it occur to you that you two might one day cross paths?
It only occurred to me in recent times when he's been getting a lot of success, and also when I've been getting a lot of success in the fights that we've had, and just thought to myself, it's bound to happen, the fight with Daniel Dubois. And now, listen, you've got to respect him for what he's been able to achieve, the comeback that he's had after the Usyk fight, and being champion of the world. He's got to get that respect.
You know, I look at that Hughie Fury fight, not even that, we'll just take Andy Ruiz onwards, and everything you've been through, there's been ups, there's been downs, obviously that's been Daniel's time to try and reach the top as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, but would it be fair to say you're fighting with quite a bit of freedom now because you've achieved world champion status in your career, and okay, you're going for 2-time, you've had defeats, so you're kind of fighting with a bit of freedom. Would I be fair to say that?
Listen, you can say you're fighting a bit of freedom, but we got goals. We have goals that we've set out to achieve. Myself, the team, Andy and George, we've been working very hard, and we're out to achieve these goals. But I have been champion of the world. I've had a lot of downs as well, but the goal is to become champion, to become undisputed, to become unified champion of the world. So the goal, we're nearly there. We just have to get it right.
It was interesting hearing you say that when you become world champion against Andy Ruiz, you kind of didn't have goals beyond that at the time.
I didn't really.
That was like
really.
a one-off type goal.
And then the fight with Anthony Joshua came along. I thought, oh well, this is great, but there was no real goals set for after winning the championship of the world.
Where does Daniel rank? I know this will be easier to say after the fight, but on paper, where would you put Daniel in with the opponents that you face in your career?
I think that he's number one because of what he's been able to achieve, where he's at, and the confidence he comes in with, the belief, the backing himself, the team he has. I think he's number one.
More so than that 2018 Anthony Joshua?
Times are different. I think at this moment, in this moment in time, it's Dubois will be number one. Back then, obviously, Joshua was number one in my career. But in terms of the form that Dubois has been on and sort of Joshua's been on, I would say Wilder, I'll say Dubois.
What do you make of his character? I watched the face-off between you two, and it was a bit hairy at times, but I think he can be perhaps a misunderstood character, but he's not the most outgoing and
He
personable.
doesn't say a lot, but he doesn't need to say a lot because he does all the talking in the ring.
Do you like that?
Yeah, same as me. I don't really talk a lot as well. So we're quite similar in that sense, and when we're in the ring, we take care of business the way we're supposed to.
Would it be a bit of a cheap way to advertise his fighters to just say speed versus power?
Daniel's actually got good speed as well, and everyone that I've been talking to says he's got a good jab, got good power. So I don't know how you'll put this fight. Just about former world champion against world champion.
How do you think you stand up to his power? You've shown a very resolute chin in your time.
Listen, I don't want to be getting hit with all these big shots, but if it does happen, I have a good chin. I've showed it in the past and I'll show it again. But it's not so much about taking these punches. It's about going out there and performing and hitting and not getting hit. That's the name of the game.
What do you think Daniel's chin's like?
He's shown a great chin as well. You know, he's shown a great chin in the Miller fight, in the Hergovich fight, Joshua fight, when before Joshua got knocked out, Joshua actually hurt him. And he showed a good chin then.
I know styles make fights, but do you look at any of the fights that Daniel's had, and perhaps he one of the fighters who might have had half of the blueprint maybe, and maybe look at the Hergovich defeat and go, if Philip had just done this, like, do you see blueprints in some of Daniel's defeats?
You can see, you know, with the Joyce fight, with the Usyk fight, with the success the other fighters had before they got knocked out or they got outpointed, whatever it is, there is a blueprint that you can take away from these fights to put together for Dubois. But for me, it's just about doing what I need to do and performing to the best of my ability.
We talk about him jumping in the ring against Alexander Usyk. I know we spoke about this briefly when we had the launch press conference, but you felt that was a man who is overlooking you.
Listen, he can be overlooking, or he was told to do that, and he just went along and did it. You know, and they always try and lock in bigger fights or future fights before other fights have been made, and that's just boxing. That's the sport they're in.
Have you been in that position before, where there's a fight in front of you, but
really,
other fights are kind of floating in the background, and it must be hard not to think about big nights.
It's hard because you want to be involved in all these big, massive fights, but there's other fights that's in front of you and you just got to take care of that one first.
Because if someone's dangling the carrot of you winning and fighting Alexander Usyk, it must be something that you think about when you go to sleep at night.
Of course, listen, it's always going to be thought about, but, you know, just being a professional fighter, you have to focus on what's in front of you now.
You said you can make Daniel quit, you believe. Is there something in there that you see in him?
Listen, he's shown quit before. And if it does get too hard, he might revert back to type. And you never know. Or he has shown, you know, to be able to overcome hard times in the fight as well. So you never know what you're going to get with Daniel. Or you know that you're going to get a well-prepared fighter who's the champion of the world, who wants to remain champion of the world. Well, my goal is to take that away from him and be champion myself. When
you say quit, are you on about the Joe Joyce fight, which I know he got a lot of backlash for, or some even used the claim in the Usyk fight too?
To quit in the Joe Joyce fight. I mean, I'm not sure what the problem was with the eye. Maybe it was a proper problem that he had, and then the Usyk fight he got down with a jab. So these fighters were able to make him find a way out, or maybe it got too hard for him. I don't know what's going on in Daniel's mind.
What are you expecting from him this week when you go face to face?
I'm expecting a confident champion. You know, confident champion who wants to remain champion.
Can I ask you one question? And this is about beyond this, but I guess just something that falls into the career goals category you was talking about. Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua, Dillian Whyte, Derek Chisora twice, Zhilei Zhang, Deontay Wilder. I heard Derek Chisora say the other day, it's only Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois that I want to fight because he hasn't fought them. Do you look at a current crop of heavyweights and think there's just a couple of guys that I want to tick off to say that you've mixed it with everyone? Because your CV is immaculate. Do you look and think, I want this guy, so I can say I've had the clean sweep and we've done all the guys from my own?
You want to fight the best in the world, the top fighters there are, and be involved in the biggest fights. But it's always great to look at those after you've had the fight. You know, like after this fight, Dubois, then I can look at all the other fights. But for now, I just want to focus fully on him. He deserves that, and he deserves the respect to focus just on him being the champion of the world.
I will ask you finally, what's on the agenda after your fight with Daniel? Back home, some beers, a barbecue. What's on the Joseph Parker agenda?
Celebrate with my team that's here in Saudi Arabia. Have some burgers, some chips. Have some, I don't know, soft drinks, whatever it is, and then go back home and see my family.
Joseph, you're a good man. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.